Hi everyone, welcome to Chalchitra Talks. मेरा नाम वाणी है and in this episode I want to recommend to you 3 books that have helped me get through a lot of emotional turmoil that I've faced in the last few months. These are the books that I rediscovered in 2021 and one is a new discovery. But these 3 books have helped me gather myself and find my inner calm when I thought I was losing it and there was nothing more I could do. The first book that I want to recommend to you is The School of Life by Bourton. He also runs a YouTube channel and a lot of us I think are familiar with it. But I feel The School of Life, the book, deserves a lot more credit than it is given. It should be made compulsory in the school curriculum. If I could do that, I would. Because it just teaches you about the things which you were never taught, about emotional maturity, about emotional intelligence. There are 5 different sections in this book: self, others, work, relationships, and culture. And he beautifully talks to you about how to deal with emotions in these different spheres. I think the section that I have been going back to is self, which is the first section of the book. And I've been doing that so frequently in the past 1 month because sometimes you just begin to doubt yourself. You have one breakdown and you think you're not good enough. And in those times, this book has taught me to be patient with myself, to trust the journey, to trust the process. School of Life also talks to you about the breakdowns that you have, and this section is particularly my favorite. He says the reason we break down is that we have not, over years, flexed very much. There were things we needed to hear inside our minds that we deftly put to one side. There were messages we needed to heed, bits of emotional learning and communicating we didn't do, and now, after being patient for so long, far too long, the emotional self is attempting to make itself heard in the only way it knows how. It has become entirely desperate, and we should understand and even sympathize with its mute rage. What the breakdown is telling us, above anything else, is that it must no longer be business as usual, that things have to change. And this can be properly frightening to witness. But he says, sometimes we believe that we've gone mad, but it's not that we've gone mad when we're having an emotional breakdown. It's just your mind telling you to stop and rethink about what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, if you're doing anything at all. So this is a book that I'd like to recommend to you, especially if you are dealing with something that's very emotional. The second book that I want to recommend to you is Light from Many Lamps. Now I have a confession to make. I had Light from Many Lamps for quite some years, but I did not pick it up until I went to college eventually. And mostly because I did not like the cover of the book. But when I discovered it, I realized I was an idiot. The book is a collection of thoughts, quotes from the greatest thinkers of our times and our ancestors' times. You'll find words of Shakespeare, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and so on and so forth. And one beautiful thing that I just read yesterday, when I thought that I was a little too overwhelmed with frustration, it was this, and it's by Marcus Aurelius. So it's also a collection of quotes, and it says, "Let not your mind run on what you lack as much as on what you have already. Of the things you have, select the best, and then reflect how eagerly they would have been sought if you did not have them." And sometimes you just need to hear these words because even though we've learnt them while we were growing up, over time we tend to forget them. Another thing that I've noticed while reading the book is how there are so many passages and how there are so many references that we know time and again, but we do not know the stories where they came from. For example, a lot of us have heard about the quote, "This too shall pass." But we don't know the origin story of it, and this is what Light from Many Lamps teaches you as well. It gives you the insight into the thoughts of people who we have considered the greatest thinkers, but it will also give you the encouragement that you need to deal with things that are happening. Just like the name suggests, it's offering to you a light from many lamps that we've had in this world, and it's up to you to accept them and learn something from them. The third book that I want to recommend to you is not a rediscovery. This was the first book that I read in the year 2021, and it's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. All these four characters meet in this book, and then they travel, and then they go on a journey together. This book is, I would say, a graphic short story of sorts, and primarily it is for children, but it's also such a kind book for adults to read, because over time we forget how innocent we once were and how we were told to believe in ourselves. And in those times when everything seems so uncertain that we are not sure what to believe in, how to believe in things, we're so uncertain about the future, this book offers you such a warm and tight hug, and just makes you feel happy about where you are, about the people you love, about the people you have around you. And therefore, this is my third recommendation of the day. So I really hoped you liked this. If you pick up these recommendations, let me know how you liked them. And if you have some recommendations for me, do let me know in the comment section below. And before I go, I also want to thank you for the support you showed to us in our COVID all-day stream. Thank you so much for contributing. We were able to raise a significant amount to help the people of Kshetra provide food and relief for the people. And it just fills my heart with so much joy to see how much we care for each other. So thank you so much for that. And in case you like our work, do support us on Patreon or become a member of our YouTube community. We've carefully divided our patrons into 3 different categories: gladiators, goodfellas, and godfathers. Godfathers are at the top, and we treat them like godfathers. They get access to exclusive WhatsApp groups that we have for books, music, and films. And we also give them the access to our streams. They are a part of our quizzes, our streams every week. And we also host regular town hall sessions with them. So do support us if you like our work. And I will be back again with another recommendation for you in my next episode.